Welcome to the Round 2 Delphi survey.
As a reminder, core outcome sets represent the minimum critically important outcomes that should be measured and reported in all future research studies related to a specific treatment. In this study, we are seeking to establish a core outcome set in endodontics by identifying the critically important outcomes to be measured in all future endodontic research studies. To achieve agreement on the most important outcomes to be included in the core outcome set and be measured in all future research studies, we asked you in the first survey to rate the importance of outcomes using a 9-point rating scale, where a score of 1 to 3 indicates that an outcome is not important, a score of 4 to 6 indicates that an outcome is important but not critical, and a score of 7 to 9 indicates that an outcome is critically important to be included in the core outcome set. After our data analysis, we retain outcomes that the majority of participants rated as critically important and removed outcomes that did not reach the consensus level. Specifically, outcomes that fewer than 50% of participants in each group of stakeholders rated as critical were excluded.
In this second round of surveys, we need your help to further narrow down the list of outcomes to be included in the core outcome set to ensure that the core set emphasizes only the critically important outcomes. For each of the retained outcomes, we are providing you with your initial rating and the average rating from your peers and other groups. After considering others' opinions, you can opt to retain your initial rating or adjust it higher or lower. This iterative process refines the list of remaining outcomes and strengthens the consensus on which outcomes should be included or excluded. For example, as you can see here, your original ratings are going to be highlighted in yellow, and different groups are going to be represented by different colors, where patients are represented by dark purple, clinicians are represented by orange, and academicians and researchers are represented by light purple. As you can see here, for this test outcome, we have the plain English description, and we also have the scores of the other stakeholder groups. Please reassess the importance of the outcome to be included in the core outcome set and be measured in all future research studies. Review each outcome description and then please ask yourself the following questions. What does this outcome mean to you? Do you think this outcome is really important to understand health or treatment? Is this outcome more important than others? Should the outcome always be measured in every research study, no matter what? Here, we can see 3 different test outcomes which will be presented with plain English descriptions, and we can also see the percentages of the other stakeholder groups here as well. After considering the name, the description, as well as the questions on the previous page and the stakeholder groups, I can decide to keep my score the same, like we can see for the first outcome. I can decide to move my score down, like we can see for the second outcome, or I can decide to move my score up, like we can see for the third outcome.
Please note the following points. We are providing plain English descriptions for each outcome to ensure clarity for all stakeholder groups. This language will be adjusted in the final core outcome set to match the terminology commonly employed in endodontic research studies. Please assess the importance of outcomes regardless of their feasibility for measurement in a clinical setting. The methodology for measuring these outcomes falls beyond the scope of this core outcome set. If an outcome does not reach consensus for being among the most important outcomes, it does not undermine its importance and it can still be measured in appropriate future research studies. The lack of consensus simply means that the outcome is not critical to be measured in all future research studies. Please note that the number of outcomes in a core outcome set significantly impacts its usefulness. If the core outcome set contains a large number of outcomes, it would hinder its practicality and feasibility in research implementation. Meanwhile, if the core outcome set contains only the most important outcomes, it could be more feasible to apply while allowing researchers to measure other outcomes of interest.
Thank you so much for listening.